Hey, shalom, shalom. Hey, shalom, shalom. Okay, shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahawashi, Bahashem, Ruach HaKodesh, and double honor to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Peace, love, salutations, and blessings to the house of David, which is the elect. Um, and I just wanted to go into a news and prophecy update. Today is March the 4th, all right, 2025. And today's started the official date of the beginning of this trade war between Canada, America, that America is, launching against Canada, Mexico, and China, right, along, with the EU. I'm not too sure exactly, when that starts. I could look it up. Let me see. When does tariffs start on EU? Let's see. So, okay. So this came out today. It says new Trump tariffs takes effect. EU also in crosshairs. So they look at the day ahead of European and global markets from Kevin Bookland. Europe wakes up to new U.S. tariffs on Canada, Mexico, and China, bringing into starker relief Donald Trump's threat of levies for the EU next. Trump seems to have shifted to a harder line, saying his neighbors to the north and south had no room left for negotiations that would further delay 25% levies following an earlier 1 month stay of the execution. Says it's not just that Trump trade policies will significantly drag on global growth, which today you had, the stock market in yesterday. The stock market, has been tanking, because of this news on, this trade tariff. Um, it says, but that they will be a self-inflicted wound at a time when the U.S. economy is looking more vulnerable. See that? And I was watching the news earlier today, and they were speaking about the real estate market and how this trade war is going to negatively affect the real estate market. And they were saying, how that the mortgage rates has been decreasing within the last couple months, but because of this trade war, that's going to basically offset and is actually going to increase the prices of housing, whether it be new houses or older, already built houses, or even rent, because this trade war, I believe they said that Canada is an exporter of lumber to America, and I believe they said that America gets a lot of its lumber, right, which is necessary in order to build houses from Canada. So it says bets for more Federal Reserve easing keeps going up. Traders now price in 3/4 point rates cuts this year, from two just days ago, and leaning towards only one a month earlier. That's keeping the dollar down in contrast with uh, the trend previously, when Trump's protectionist policies strengthened the currency. Elsewhere, the euro and sterling are holding firm against the greenback amid pan-European efforts at a Ukraine peace deal, even as Washington seems to be moving closer to Moscow. Okay, so let's read a little bit over here. It says Trump tariffs threats are turning into reality at an increasing pace, and it was only last week that he said 25% levies were on their way for Europe-made cars and all other things. April 2nd is scheduled to bring a round of so-called reciprocal tariffs from Washington on top of those already put in place. these could all still turn out to be largely a negotiation tactic rather than a new reality for global trade. And some investors and analysts certainly ascribe to that view. So, they're trying to say that, oh, this is Trump trying to, use this as a negotiation tactic. And, that's something that we'll just have to wait and see. But for now, right, these are going to have actual physical negative effects on, the current, state of America, right? Your current standard of living, right? Your ability to be able to afford certain goods and services. Okay, all of these things are going to actually, increase. And if you remember, um, Elon Musk, mentioned, right, during Trump's campaign, that there was going to be a strain, right, a hard, very hard strain on the American economy, right? Let me see if I can find that. Elon Musk, economic warning. Let's see. So let's say, so this is from November 1st, right? A few days before the election. It says on Tuesday, Musk reiterated the anticipated economic pain from the plan in response to an X user who wrote that the spending cuts would cause a severe overreaction in the economy, which this is speaking about the actual federal cuts that Doge is currently doing, right? The cutting and firing, a lot of these employee federal workers, right? Cutting these federal programs, right? It says, and that the markets will tumble before the U.S. emerges on sounder footing. Musk responded, right? But there was something else Musk has said, around the same time, that is basically was going to be a it basically was going to be a short term, very painful economic you know position. America was going to be in a very painful economic position, but he said it was only going to be for a short term, and it was necessary in order to fix all of the problems that America has, right? But the scriptures tells you to never trust thine enemy. All right, and we know that this guy here, is a technocrat or a technocrat, right? Meaning, let's go into the word technocrat, right? We got time today, so we don't need to be rushing technocrat, but I still will be mindful of how long this is, right? So a technocrat is an exponent or advocate of technocracy. All right. It says technocracy, right, is a form of government that which the decision makers are selected based on their experts in a given area of responsibility, particularly with regard to scientific or technical knowledge, right? And this guy Elon Musk, right? He wasn't elected, okay, according to the American, presidential campaign, right? The so-called, the people so-called elected Trump to be the president. Yet you're seeing this guy in the Oval Office. He's taking questions, right? He's, was on the Time magazine, sitting down in the president's seat. Okay, he is an advisor to Trump, and he really, and I said this a while ago. You have in America these lobbyists that basically pay the presidential, candidates, their campaigns and give them money so that when they win, they push forward their agenda, right? That's what, they're called lobbyists. And they're lobbyists, a lot of these lobbyists are small hats, right? And I believe I've seen something, I'm not too sure, I never looked into it, but I seen a brother, can't remember who it was, did a video on how this guy, right, Elon Musk, was speaking about his 48 or a small hat ancestry. Okay, like I said, I haven't looked into it. I think I just remember seeing like the title, But, I wouldn't be surprised if this guy got, Amalekite, blood in him. We know he's an Edomite for sure. So, and I mean, it doesn't really matter whether what tribe he's from, but we know that according to scripture, that Amalek, received the larger or the largest portion of Esau's blessing. Okay, Amalek is the first of the nations. See, and they're at the forefront of pushing this technocratic system, right? Which will be ran by AI. Okay, and he spoke about there would be an AI God, before the whole judicial litigations that Trump is going through is all said and done. That AI would have had increased exponentially, in time, in rate, so quickly that it wouldn't even matter, what the judicial branch actually rules, right? And there will be a so-called, he called it a AI God, right? And they boast in these things, right? And that AI, really, that artificial intelligence, is based off of their mind, right? These Edomites' mind, you see, because, and the elder Yashawamba had brought this out before. AI asks to draw itself, right? And the imagery that it came up with, you see, we asked AI to draw a self-portrait. You see, and this is the imagery that it came up with. So right there, that says it all, right? It looks, looks straight up and down like an Orthodox JOO. Okay. This is what AI drew of a self-portrait of itself. So that right there goes to show you, Osalakia, I'm not showing it. My bad. This is it right here, right? So that right there shows you, okay, the mind, where I can't even call it an actual mind, but the artificial intelligence, right? What it's been programmed through their, algorithms, who they're modeled after, right? What type of, energy and way of operating it's modeled after. It's modeled after this guy, right? Amalek. And as we go into the scriptures, it tells you that Esau, his mind, is modeled after a spirit, okay? A particular type of spirit. His spirit is modeled after the spiritual demon Satan. You see? Let's start at verse 2, 2 Thessalonians 2, verse 4. It says, who opposeth and exalteth himself. Actually, start at 3. It says, let no man deceive you by any means, for that day shall not come, except there come a falling away first. Start at 3. And that man of sin be revealed, the son of perdition, right? In a NLT, it calls it what? The lawless one, right? The man of lawlessness, you see? Because he doesn't uphold, follow, live by the laws, statutes, and commandments of the Most High Yahawah Bashem Yahawashi, although he portrays himself to be godly, right? He claims that this is a God, Bible believing country, but yet he doesn't follow any of the instructions that the Lord says to live by, right? And in order for life to flourish and wickedness to be rooted out of the land, he does the complete opposite. He kills life and he upholds wickedness, right? In the book of Psalms, the 12th chapter, it tells you that Psalms chapter 12, verse 8 says, the wicked walk on every side when the vilest men are exalted. All right. And this man, Esau Edom, is the vilest of them all. Okay. He's a vile man. And it's not just, we're not just saying it. You look at the conditions of society, right? The way that this place is ruled, right? Because as the scripture says, as the leader is, right, or the ruler is, so are the people. And this is why you got nothing but violence, confusion, right? Unnatural affection. Okay. And then in Esau's own kingdom, which we're going to get into, you got nothing but divisions, nothing but wars and distress amongst the nations. You see? So let's go. So we can close that. So yeah. So what I wanted to show was the response, right? The response. I was watching this yesterday, coming from Steve Ram's channel. It says breaking: Canada threatens to cut U.S. electricity exports amid tariff disputes. See, because you have these people in Babylon that have fallen for the rhetoric, right? Fallen for the notion that America is impenetrable. America is unable to be hurt, is unable to be affected by anything any other country could do. See, and that goes into that mindset written about in the book of Isaiah, the 47th chapter, of the daughter of Babylon, right, which is America, which says what? That dwelleth carelessly, right? This is Isaiah 47, verse 7. It says, and thou saidest, I shall be a lady forever. Okay. Being a lady, meaning what? Being on top, right? Being the one most desired. Right. It says, so that thou didst not lay these things to thine heart, neither didst remember the latter end of it. All right. The mindset here in America is that these things, no evil can come to it. Right. They can do treacherous dealings with other nations. Right. They could, do underhanding dealings. They could rape, rob, pillage, murder. Right. Overtake other countries' resources. Right. They could touch the apple of the Most High's eye. Right. Afflict the Israelites. Show them no mercy to the old or the young. Right? They could blaspheme the God of heaven. They could promote satanic satanic vibration on the earth. See, they could try to challenge the superiority of the Creator Himself. Right? They could change the faces of the judges thereof. They can do all of these things and think as though there will be no retribution for it. There will be no recompense for it. Right? So they didn't lay these things to thine heart. Neither didst remember the latter end of it. Right? And the latter end of it is, as it is written in Sirach, that it's a marvel if one can go unpunished. Right? And it is also written in the book of Nahum that although the Lord is slow to anger, he will not at all acquit the wicked. All right? He will not at all acquit the wicked. Matter of fact, we can get that in the book of Ecclesiastes 8. Ecclesiastes chapter 8, verse 11. It says, because sentence against an evil work is not executed speedily. And that's all that's in this devil's mind is an evil. He has a evil thought, man, a mischievous mindset, right? Was that in book of Micah? It says what? That they woe unto them that devise iniquity upon their bed. When the morning is light, they practice it because it is in the power of their hand. Also in the book of Proverbs, it says that he doesn't sleep unless he has caused some to do mischief. And I'm just, throwing precepts out there. Brothers want to, actually put it on the comment boards. That would be Tawab, for the edification further for the, fellow listeners. But this devil, his mind just is only evil, right? Only evil, dealings, man. So the Lord is saying, because sentence against an evil work is not executed speedily, because the Lord is long suffering, right? Therefore, therefore, the heart of the sons of men is fully set in them to do evil. And that starts with Esau, Edom. And then our people that have taken a hold of his side, right, trying to get a piece of this American pie, right, which is full of nothing but GMO food, right, GMO ingredients full of poison and death. But because it smells good, because it looks good, right, it's pleasant to the eyes and it's good for the taste, You got our people willing to eat it all up, but not realizing that they're eating death, right? Just as Eve in the garden. Okay. It says, though a sinner do evil 100 times, and his days be prolonged, yet surely I know that it shall be well with them that fear the Most High, which fear before him. But it shall not be well with the wicked, neither shall he prolong his days, which are as a shadow, because he feareth not before the Most High. That's right. So it's not going to be well. You know what? My bad. I got to keep reminding myself to change this. It's not going to be well with the wicked, man. You know, I was just reading this right here, Ecclesiastes 8, verse 13. Okay. It's not going to go well. It's not going to end well for this devil. And that's why in the book of Isaiah, it says that. Neither didst thou remember the latter end of it. So going back here to verse 8, therefore hear now this, thou that art given to pleasures, right? That dwellest carelessly. And that is the mindset. That's the vibration that is pushed out here in America individually and as a nation as a whole, right? They think, right? These Americans, these Babylonians think that they are immune to any type of reciprocal economic pressure that these other nations try and will impose on America because of what Trump is doing with these trade wars, right? And all of this is just only accumulating and further leading unto the fall of Babylon. See, what we're witnessing is these scriptures that we read about, right? Babylon falling, Babylon being destroyed. There is no healing Babylon. What we are witnessing is the cause of it, right? We are living why why the prophets saw Babylon fall, why they saw that there was no healing medicine that could help. All right, why Yahawashi spoke about that a Satan house being divided cannot stand. See, so it says that sayest in thine heart, I am, and none else beside me. And that's the mindset that Trump is in, right? And that's the mindset that he's putting all of these, people that trust in the shadow of Egypt in. Oh yeah, no, we're the strongest, American first, right? American exceptionalism, right? We don't need NATO. NATO needs us. We don't need Mexico. We don't need Canada, right? We don't need anybody, right? That's what they're boasting in, saying what I am and none else beside me. When you say none else beside me, they're saying that nobody's equal to them. It's America, and then everybody's on the bottom. But what did the Lord say? The Lord said that He had laid a snare for Babylon in Jeremiah the 50th chapter, right? And it was in Babylon was not aware of it. Although the Lord had the prophets out here telling you that these things are going to take place, telling you the end, right? Telling you how all of this is going to unfold. People did not take heed into the words of prophets, only the elect. See, because the pride of Esau's heart has deceived him, because he's in the mindset that what? Nobody can touch him. As it says, reading on, I shall not sit as a widow, neither will I know the loss of children. So they're saying that I'm not going to suffer any loss, right? Any loss in war, any loss in money, any loss in power, none of that. But these two things shall come to thee in a moment, in one day, the loss of children and widowhood. They shall come upon thee in their perfection. So when the Lord sends these things, it's going to be in a perfect manner, right? It's not going to be, oh, it was just only a slight disturbance or a slight, collapse. Nah, it's going to perfectly knock you out, right? It's going to be the fall that you won't be able to recover from. It says, for the multitude of thy sorceries, which this place was built and thrives, right, on the sorceries, okay, from the music, from the media, right, from the foods, from the, the spiritual divergence that Esau puts out through, these churches, right? It says, and for the great abundance of thine enchantments. And that goes back to just the whole culture of this place, man. It's an enchantment. People are just stuck in this hypnotic state of being in darkness, man. Right? They're just stuck on stupid. They're hypnotized to just enjoying and loving death, loving captivity, right? Loving the things that are destroying them mentally, spiritually, physically. And that is the power of the left hand side, right? Present you destruction on a silver platter. And because it's on a silver platter, you're looking at the silver platter, right? Because being presented to you in a luxurious way, right? In a pleasurable way, you're looking at it as if it's something to be desired. But at the end of the day, it's still destruction. Okay? It's still destruction. And this is why, as the scripture says, arise ye and depart, for this is not your rest. But only the elect are going to take heed into that. You see? So let's play this. This is pretty lengthy. I'm not going to play the whole thing. I'm going to skip around and try to hit the key points. And Lord willing, get some precepts, and we can get out of here. So let me do this. Let's do it to 125. Yeah, just let me know that y'all can hear this when I start playing it.
Some big news coming out in the past couple of hours today, March 3rd, 2025, as take a look at the latest headlines coming out. Canadian Premier says that he will cut off electricity exports to the U.S. with a smile on his face. And you can see this coming out in just the past couple of hours today, March 3rd, 2025. Now, take a look. This comes as we are hearing Trump says 25% tariffs on Mexican and Canadian imports will start Tuesday tomorrow with no room for delay. So he is saying this is moving forward. It is going to happen. And just in case you were wondering, take a look. Canada supplies about 90% of the United States' electricity imports. And we're hearing Canada saying they are about to cut it off. Now, I'm going to go ahead and share with you the video footage.
Now, look at that right there. Like the water. The water for letting me know. It says, what percentage of electricity comes from Canada? Canada supplies about 90% of the United States electricity imports. In 2023, the US imported around 33 terawatt hours of electricity from Canada. See, Canada is a major energy provider to the world and is the largest source of energy imports for the United States. That right there in itself, it can be very, very detrimental to America, all right, if they actually follow through and cut electricity exports off to America. You see, although America is a rich country, right? Although the US dollar is the world currency, America doesn't actually produce a lot of things that are essential, for it to survive and thrive, or thrive and survive, right? America is also the biggest importer of goods in the world, which means a lot of the things that you get in America comes from other countries. See, and that is how these other countries get to live deliciously with America, because the American dollar is the strongest, currency, because it is, the world currency. So these other countries make these things, they sell it to America in the American dollar, right? And then that American dollar goes back to their countries. See, and now they're able to build up their country using the American dollar because it's stronger over there. Okay. But what happens now that we're in this position where America is putting tariffs, levies, taxes, whatever you want to call it, on these countries to sell their products to America? Well, America is now going to feel the effect when these countries do the same thing back. Well, you want to buy our electricity? Well, we may cut it off. We may put a tariff on the electricity that you buy from us. So now your electricity bill, which has already been going up, right? If they want to put an extra 25% tax on that, so whatever your electricity bill is now, let's say your electricity bill is $200, you have a 25% increase of $200, right? Let's see what that is. 25%, 25% increase of 200. Yeah, 50. Right. I probably could did that math in my head better. But yeah, so now it goes from 200 to $250, right? And that's just, I'm just using a whole number, with that. But they're not just saying that they would cut it off. I mean, increase it. They're saying that they could cut it off completely. So let's keep listening.
So that way you can see it for yourself and how the United States is responding, saying these tariffs, what is about to unfold, this is going to be impacting our U.S. economy. And in addition to that, I'm also going to be covering for you exactly where in the United States this is going to be impacting as well. It says in 2023, the United States imported about 33 terawatt hours of electricity from Canada. And here you can see this coming out before when we had the tariff threats. Canada's threat to turn off electricity to the U.S. It is heating up. Now, this was back in January, the 28th of January, 2025. Now we're hearing tariffs are going into effect tomorrow. And I'm going to share with you the clip where they're saying, all right, well, the 90% of the electricity that comes from Canada, all of that electricity that comes into the US, they're saying we're about to cut it off, and with a smile, because of what is going on with this tariff war. Now, take a look here and you can see all the electricity that pours over from Canada into the United States. We're going to be discussing, as I mentioned, the impacts of this potentially getting cut, where it is going to be impacting the most, what it means if we actually see this unfold. I'm going to share with you the video footage, the articles, the threats coming out in just the past couple of hours. Today, March 3rd, 2025, as we're hearing the tariff war, it has essentially begun, and Canada is threatening to cut the U.S. electricity imports that are.
Now, let's not also forget, right? You still have China, which they put Trump put tariffs on China, I think by 20%. You still have China, which the FBI, former FBI director, warned has burrowed into majority of all of America's critical infrastructures. See, that hasn't gone away, and you see that they're not really talking about that. That came from the FBI, um, um, itself. That came from that wasn't something that was speculative or anything like that. The director of the FBI, or ex-director, he himself said it, that China has burrowed into majority of America's critical infrastructures, the water supply system, the telecommunications, right? And we seen last year how you had various different telecommunication server providers like AT&T, T-Mobile, that was hit with a cyber attack. You seen they talked about last year the Social Security Department got hit with a cyber attack, right? They also talked about how the certain health insurances, right, companies got hit with the cyber attacks. So you're still dealing with that, right? And this is, how the Lord is setting up America, man. See, people have been seeing judgment happening in different parts of the earth, right? Earthquakes in China, tsunamis, in Japan, landslides in certain parts of Africa. You got pestilence in certain parts of Africa, right? You got uproars in South America. You got a whole bunch of different things, wars going on, right? Proxy wars. And people in America is like, yeah, this is a lot of stuff is going crazy, but it's not too crazy over here in Babylon, right? You can still, go about your day to day in a semi-normal way, right? Although we see, because we can see it far off, we see things, changing. We seeing how the tides are shifting here in America, but it's still not to a dramatic point where everybody's seeing it. But the Lord is building up to this boiling point to where once shit hits the fan here, there isn't going to be a means of you being able to weather the storm. right? It's not going to be oh yeah, a couple of weeks ago that was crazy, but things are going good now. No, it's going to be you're just going to be getting hit with haymakers, and then once you drop, it's not going to be you get the thing stopped. No, the Lord, once you fall, then you're going to get stumped out on, and then as you're getting stumped out on, you're going to be getting hit with bats, right? And I'm speaking metaphorically, of course, but meaning what? That the pain isn't going to stop after the first blow. Okay. And that is what people in America, Babylon especially, do not realize. All right. The scripture says that the Babylon has been a golden cup in the Lord's hand. But it is also going to be receiving the greatest judgment that any country has ever faced by the wrath of Yahweh Bashem Yahawashi in existence. All right. And it's ultimately that final last plague is going to be this place being utterly destroyed by fire. But before that, as it says in the book of Jeremiah, that there's going to be fanners, right? And these economic trade wars are fanners that the Lord is using to blow upon this place. Jeremiah 51, verse 1, it says, "Thus saith Yahweh power, behold, I will rise up or raise up against Babylon, and against them that dwell in the midst of them, that rise up against me a destroying wind. And I will send unto Babylon fanners, and they shall fan her, and shall empty her land. For in the day of trouble, they shall be against her round about." Now, these fanners are speaking, right, of these other nations that are also going to add to the destruction of Babylon. But those nations, that physical destruction is the last fan, so to speak, right? You're going to have other ways that these nations are going to also cause America to tumble, to fall. And what we're seeing, right, is the reason for that. So let's keep going here.
Are coming in here, which provide 90% of all of the electricity coming in to the United States from other nations. So there are some major threats being issued here. And man, let me know your thoughts. Do you think that we're going to be able to avoid a tariff war? If you think so, put a 1. If you think no, put a 2. We're hearing that this is going to be starting tomorrow. So unless in the next couple of hours we see some sort of an agreement, some sort of compromise come, it looks like this is going to be starting as of tomorrow. And rather than seeing some sort of last minute agreement or deal or talks, we're hearing threats that are coming out in the past couple of hours. I'm going to be sharing with you. So let me know, are we about to enter into a massive tariff war with Mexico, China, and Canada, as all of these are now going to be implemented? In fact, Mexico and Canada are going into effect starting tomorrow. And starting tomorrow as well, we're seeing double the tariffs. No longer 10%, but now 20% are going to be applied to China. And we are hearing that nations are very upset and they are going to be hitting back. I'm seeing 2s pouring in as they're saying, prepare now for the tariff war and prepare potentially Canada to cut all the electricity that they provide to the U.S. off. And they said they are planning to do this with a smile in retaliation for what is going on. I'm seeing 1s and 2s pouring in. Some people are saying they think there could be some sort of last minute agreement to stop this from unfolding. We will see, but I will keep you up to date. We're going to dive into this now. As I mentioned, articles, as always, are going to be cited, hyperlinked in the description. I cite all the sources, put it on the screen, read right from it. I'm going to play for you the video footage coming out in the past couple of hours so you can see it for yourself. I cite everything just like a book report, so you can rest assured and know that this is the latest. And if you appreciate the breaking news updates, keeping you up to speed on everything, please take a second before we dive in and hit that like button for me. Helps out the channel a ton. Also, share this out across social media platforms. Really helps out the channel a ton. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. And also, to stay up to date, it's totally free. Why not? Hit that subscribe button, turn on that notification bell. I'm going to be keeping you up to speed on everything. But first, let's go ahead and take a look at what it is that they have to say about these 25% tariffs that are going to be applied to Canada starting tonight, and what the premier had to say on this. You're going to hear him say, "I will cut off all of U.S. electricity. I will do what I have to do to respond. We are not going to play nice with this whatsoever." He is very upset. Let's go ahead and play the video footage so you can see it for yourself. And then we're going to take a look at an analysis of how this is going to be impacting the United States. And then we're going to dive into the articles, and I'm going to tell you where this is going to hit and to what extent you can expect to see U.S. electricity getting shaken by these tariff wars. So let's go ahead and get right to it. Hit that like button and let's watch some video footage.
I'm joined now by Doug Ford. He is the Premier of Ontario, Canada. Mr. Premier, we appreciate you making some time for us today. We know that President Trump delayed these tariffs a month ago, and now we're hearing today that this will happen for Canada. Do you have any indication that he might delay?
And it's interesting that he waited a month to do this, right? So for the month of March to come, which we know that March is named after the Roman god of war, right? March, Roman god. Let's type that in. Because we know, once, like I said, like this devil, right? He works with the left hand, right? There's sorceries and enchantments. So it says the Roman god of war, Mars, was celebrated in March, the month named after him. See that? And a lot of times, a lot of wars or a lot of things happen that this devil, especially like in Babylon and the government, they like to do things in the month of March. See? So it says in ancient Roman religion and mythology, Mars is the god of war and also an archaeological guardian. All right, so yeah, these devils they try to do things in the name of their gods, but as it says in Isaiah, stand now with thine enchantments. See, you got to stand with your enchantments, which you labored in from a youth, and see if they're going to be able to help you prevail, man. Because these gods, they're no gods. They're idols, right? They can't move, they can't breathe, they can't think. All right. So you want to push that vibration now, which is really, like I said before, just the spirit of Satan, right? Who's coming, Esau, the wicked, who's coming is after the working of Satan. Well, let's see if that's going to be able to help you prevail, right? As it says in Isaiah the 47th chapter. Matter of fact, let me read it. Isaiah 47 verse 12. It says, stand now with thine enchantments and with the multitude of thy sorceries, wherein thou hast labored from thy youth. If so, thou shalt be able to profit. If so, thou mayest prevail. And that's like the Lord really mocking Esau, right? Mocking Babylon the Great, right? Keep your stand with your enchantment. Let's see if it's going to be able to make you profit. Let's see if it's going to make America great again. Let's see if it's going to bring in the golden age, if it's going to revive the American dream, right? It says, thou art wearied in the multitude of thy counsels. Yeah, you had the Pope trying to open up portals, and now his ass is about to be taken out of the earth, right? He about to be portaled back to the spirit world. And I find that very, very interesting. That as soon as he did that little that ritual, which they called it a ritual, now he's dealing with respiratory problems, breathing problems, right? He can't breathe properly. And it's funny because what the breath of life comes from the Most High. So the Lord is legit squeezing life out of that guy, man. You see? It says, let now the astrologers, the stargazers, the monthly prognosticators stand up and save thee from these things that shall come upon thee. See, these things are destined to come upon Babylon. And speaking of stargazers, I believe that there's supposed to be a blood moon, if I'm not mistaken. Let's see, blood moon, March. Supposed to be a blood moon. Yep. On the night of Thursday, March 13th. And that's the night of the Passover. And last year, around the Passover time, right, there was a solar eclipse, right? There was a solar eclipse that happened during the time of the Passover, or maybe it was like a week before, a week after, I can't remember. But you had that happen. You had an earthquake happen over here in the East Coast, which, that's very rare. Okay. And you had people, I remember, because I felt the earthquake. And a lot of people felt it, here in Jersey. And you had people bugging the hell out, right? People were scared as hell, because of that. I think it was like a 5 point something earthquake. I mean, just like that, people's foundation literally and figuratively was shaken. But here it says on the night of Thursday, March 13th through Friday, March 14th. So the Passover, the Pesach starts March 13th. North America will have a front row seat to witness a total lunar eclipse, colloquially called a blood moon, right? Hey, and the scripture speaks about that, right? So that's no coincidence. Hey, you call Lord YAHAWAH Yahawashi, man, because the Lord literally, he is manifesting right before our eyes the signs, man. And and at the end of the day, this is what we're supposed to be paying attention to. This is what we're supposed to be warning about as being prophets, men of the Lord. And you got these false teachers out here that is worried about the wrong things. They're doing the wrong things. They're being exposed for their wickedness, and it's ultimately because they don't got the spirit of Yahawashi, which is connected to the testimony, right, of prophecy. We're supposed to, as prophets, we're supposed to be prophesying, man. Okay, telling you what thus saith the Lord, and getting your minds prepared for the times to come, so that you can repent. And as Yahawashi said, that you can be found worthy to stand before him and escape all of these things that are coming upon the earth. Because the Lord is not going to stop these things from coming just because you don't believe. Romans 3:3. Or just because you weren't paying attention. Matter of fact, because you weren't paying attention, because you don't believe, you're now going to have to be faced with the reality of it. Okay, you're going to have to be faced with the consequences of your ignorance. All right, and this is why, starting with the elders and apostles, right, of Great Millstone, the true leaders of Israel, right, along with the brothers that have entered into their labors, teaching the sincere doctrine of Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahawashi. This is why we are focused on prophecy, man, because the Lord has these things taking place, coming to pass, so that you can be aware of it, so that you can realize and see what the Lord is doing and make the proper preparedness for it, which is spiritual. Not doing some, physical doomsday prepping. No, we are spiritually doomsday prepping, man. Building our spiritual ark. Right? Joel 2, verse 28. And it shall come to pass afterward that I will pour upon my that I will pour out my spirit upon all flesh, and your sons and your daughters shall prophesy, your old men shall dream dreams, your young men shall see visions. And we've had numerous of testimonies, brothers doing videos of dreams and visions that they've received. Okay, spiritual visions, man, of destruction, of salvation, of men not making it. Okay, of the MOTB, okay, being implemented, of all hell breaking loose, of brothers getting spiritual powers. Because these things are things that are going to be needful, right? The spiritual powers, right? Deliverance. Those things are going to be needful in order for us to endure into the end, in order for us to make it through these times, make it through Jacob's trouble, make it through the hour of temptation. Because if Canada does what it says it can do, cutting off electricity to America, that's going to cause what? Darkness, right? Which is one of the plagues that the Lord hit Egypt with. And when it's dark out, right? Them demons intensify in the darkness, man. Demons get real active at night because that's the power of darkness. See, it says, verse 29, and also upon the servants and upon the handmaids in those days will I pour out my spirit. Verse 30, and I will show wonders in the heavens and in the earth, blood and fire and pillars of smoke. The sun shall be turned into darkness and the moon into blood before the great and terrible day of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahawashi cometh. And it shall come to pass that whosoever shall call upon the name of the Lord, and that's what these other camps like IUIC, right, are not pushing. They're not promoting. They're not magnifying the name of the Lord, which the scriptures tells you, as King David said, "Oh, magnify the Lord with me," right? And when you magnify, you make it bigger, you make it grandiose, right? you enlarge it. You're supposed to enlarge the name of the Lord. Yahawah is his name, and his son's name is Yahawashi. That is the defense, right? As it says in Proverbs, the name of the Lord is a strong tower. The righteous run into it and are safe. See, this is why we can confidently and boldly, right, speak about the destruction, speak about all hell breaking loose, right? Because we trust, we're fully persuaded that if we call and believe on the names of our God, the one and only true living God, the Most High Yahweh, through his son, Yahawashi, he can and will deliver us out of all of the trouble. See, as it is written, right? And let me finish this out. It says, for in Mount Zion, and in Jerusalem shall be deliverance, as the Lord hath said, and the remnant whom the Lord shall call. The remnant is the elect, because it's only about the elect, right? And only the elect are going to call upon the name of the Lord, right? In the book of Sirach, it tells you that the elect shall praise his holy name. But I want to get this here in Psalms 34, verse 19. Many are the afflictions of the righteous, but Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahawashi, delivereth him out of them all. Okay. The righteous cry, the 17th verse, the righteous cry, and the Lord heareth and delivereth them out of all their troubles. So the Lord told us, yes, the days of trouble are at hand, right? Second Esdras, the 16th chapter, but I will deliver you from the same. Neither, it says, don't be afraid, neither doubt. You see, be ye not afraid, neither doubt. And if you truly believe on the Lord and his power, then you're not going to be afraid. And you're not going to doubt his power. You're not going to doubt his ability, right? Being strong in the Lord in the power of his might. So yeah, we welcome, all right, these plagues, right? We welcome Canada doing what they're saying that they could do to America, because these things must come to pass. They're written, and therefore it must happen.
Lay them again. Anything that's giving you any hope at this point?
Well, first of all, thanks so much for having me on, Aaron. For the sake of the American people and the Canadian people.
You want high-performance tools, long-lasting tools, affordable tools?
He needs to pull back. I'm going to tell you exactly what's going to happen here.
Well, we heard that. For the sake of the American people. Okay? For the sake of the American people, he needs to pull back. Yeah, he said and Canadian people too. And he's not playing around. He's not look like, this ain't a bluff face, man. He's saying, yeah, I got the cards, right? You know, I played poker, back in my day. When there's certain faces where you can try to read, where it's like, yeah, he's bluffing. This guy, he don't look like he's bluffing, man. his red in his face isn't too flustered.
President Trump ran on a mandate to create more jobs, keep inflation and low and lower cost. It's going to work totally opposite. Plants will close down within a week. Assembly plants in Michigan, which is a red state. Manufacturing will stop. And the people of the U.S., which I absolutely love, the American people, they're going to be paying more. The market is going to go downhill faster than the American bobsled team. It's going to be an absolute disaster for both countries. We're your largest trading partner. I don't want to respond, but we will respond like they've never seen before. You need our uranium. You need our potash. You need our high-grade nickel. I will stockpile our high-grade nickel at 50% of your military and manufacturing needs, your aluminum, the steel, the lumber. It will be an absolute disaster. And this is all due to one person, that's President Trump. I have talked to endless governors, Republican governors and Democrats, senators and Congress people. I love the U.S. I lived there for 20 years. They're all saying this is the craziest thing that someone could ever do. Well, sir, it's going to create massive problems.
Well, let me ask you, you said a couple of things here I want to ask you about. First of all, you said that you will respond. Help me understand what you expect the Canadian Prime Minister might do and what you yourself might do as the leader of a province there in Canada.
Well, we'll respond strongly, and we don't want to. On the critical minerals, I will stop shipments going into the U.S. for nickel. It will shut down manufacturing because 50% of the nickel you use is coming out of Ontario. I've ordered our bureaucrats to cut off tens of billions of dollars of contracts that we have with the U.S. We are the largest purchaser of alcohol in the world. We buy over 3,600 products from 35 states. I talked to the governor of Kentucky and Mitch McConnell. Don't touch our bourbon. I'm going after absolutely everything, and I don't want to.
Said I'm going after absolutely everything. You see? Hey, and he's an Edomite. He's a Canadian Edomite, but nonetheless, he's an Edomite. So this goes into what Yahawashi said, and I'm gonna read this in the NLT. It says, Mark chapter 3, verse 23. Said Yahawashi called them over and responded with an illustration. How can Satan cast out Satan? He asked. A kingdom divided by civil war will collapse. And you already have that type of tension here in America, right? The so-called left against the right, right? The Republicans versus Democrats. And then you got various different nations that are in America that are at odds, right? You got the gender wars. So you got the man versus the woman, this type of division. So yeah, you have civil unrest already brewing up in Babylon the Great, right, and other countries as well. Okay, it says similarly, a family splintered by feuding will fall apart, and that's the point, because Esau, right, is a house, right, the house of Edom. And you got Esau that has the fatness of the earth right now, according to their blessing that was given, by Isaac, which was a temporary blessing. But you see, what happened when underneath Solomon or after Solomon, the kingdom split because you started to have family infighting, family feuding, starting with the northern tribe Ephraim, which was all biblically prophesied. The Lord designed, had that happen. But Israel wasn't strong after the division, right? The last time Israel was strong was when we was a whole nation of people underneath King Solomon. You see? And then after that, when the kingdom split, the northern kingdom and southern kingdom, that began the downfall of Israel. And since then, our nation has just been falling and falling ever since. But now we're in the time where the Lord said that he was going to raise up the tabernacles of David as in the days of old. See? And he was going to close the breaches thereof. And that all comes by way of what? Having Yahawashi as that chief cornerstone. The Lord is building up back the house of David, but he's building it up as Yahawashi being the chief cornerstone. See that? That is why Yahawashi will be, he will sit upon the throne of David. Okay, it's going to be his kingdom, and that kingdom is going to be an everlasting dominion, because that family is going to be glued together by the chief cornerstone, right, which is Yahawashi, right? And then, Lord willing, us being a part of the elect, we being the lively stones. So the Lord is bringing back, right, the breaches of the house of David. At the same time, Esau's kingdom, Esau's family is being splintered, right, by feuding, and will lead to what? A falling apart. And this is what you're seeing, because this isn't an enemy of America that is speaking. This is one of America's, and I believe this guy says it, he is America's closest ally, right? This is America's closest ally, talking about Canada. And this is and they're talking in a way that would seem as though that they're not an ally at all to America. He said, I will shut it all down. Right? Verse 26, it says, and if Satan is divided and fights against himself, how can he stand? He will never survive. All right. He will never survive. And that is where we're at right now. Okay. We're at the point where Esau cannot survive this. Right. America, all right, Esau's kingdom is not going to survive what is taking shape right now. All right. And through the Spirit, the Lord has given us the front row view of witnessing this, and Lord willing, right, being able to escape it, escape the destruction, that comes with this, escape the pains, escape the suffering that comes with a demise of a kingdom, right, a decadency of a kingdom.
We keep the lights on 1.5 million homes and manufacturing in New York, in Michigan, and in Minnesota. If he wants to destroy our economy and our families, I will shut down the electricity going down to the U.S. And I'm telling you, we will do it. It's unfortunate. I would rather ship you more electricity, ship you more critical minerals. I want to ship you more energy, more potash to keep your farmers going, and uranium that you use for your nuclear power. It comes through from Saskatchewan over to Ontario. And it's going to be a massive, massive problem. I'm telling you, we love the Canadians love Americans. I love the U.S. Everyone does. And not one American friend. When I lived there for 20 years, I've talked to all of them. Hardcore Republicans are saying this is the biggest mistake President Trump has done, and we're dead against it. And I've yet to find one who supports him.
And so if I'm hearing you correctly, you are ready, sir, to go to war, to go to a trade war with the United States, with the Trump administration.
It's the last thing we want to do. It's one person that's coming to attack us economically. Your closest friend, your treasured ally that will stand shoulder to shoulder with you in every situation you faced. And he's attacking the person, his number one customer. There's no country in the world that buys more products off the US than we do. We're the number one trading customer to 28 states. And a lot of them are red states. They're going to feel the pain like they've never felt.
Hey, what's that saying? Don't bite the hand that feeds you. You see, but see, that's the just the mindset of Esau, man. That's the double dealings, right? That's the serpent's poison, right? He can't help but to be this way, especially here, in America, because of their pride, man. Right? Because they have that mindset, like we read in Isaiah the 47th chapter, that says that they should be a lady forever, right? That they should never see the loss of children or be a widow. All right, but hey, you know what? Okay, I quoted this before, but let me pull it up real quick. In the book of Jeremiah 50, Jeremiah chapter 50, verse 24, it says, I have laid a snare for thee, and thou art also taken, O Babylon, and was not aware, thou art found and also caught, because thou hast striven against the Lord. See, so this is a snare that is being laid for Babylon. See, they're thinking that they're laying snares and they're about to, set traps and get people to bend to their will, right? But the Lord said, nah, that same snare that you laid you're going to fall into it. Psalm 7, verse 15. He made a pit and digged it and is fallen into the ditch which he made. His mischief shall return upon his own head, and his violent dealing shall come down upon his own pate. See that? So that's what you got going on, man. All right, let's go back.
Before we're going to feel the pain, but I'll tell you, Canadians are resilient, we're strong, we're proud, and we're going to fight back like they've never seen before. And I'm sorry to the American people that your president has decided to do this. I apologize, but he's giving us no choice. There's nothing wrong with our trading. He keeps saying, oh, they're taking money. No, that's not accurate. Matter of fact, if you take out our oil, that you take 4.3 million barrels a day, and we keep things going, outside of that, take the energy to the side, you have a $55 billion surplus. Which is good. That's fine. America has a $55 million process, and 55 billion more in trade, and God bless them. We want to expand the trade. We want to create an AMCAN fortress, the two greatest countries in the world. We have what you need. We want to ship more what you need. And I'll be very frank, you're gonna see nothing like this ever in the history of the U.S.
He said you're going to see nothing like this ever in the history of the U.S., right? A time like never before, okay? This is all things that prophecy points to, okay? This is what prophecy points to. This is what the Lord said to watch for in these days leading up to his return. Daniel 12, verse 1, and at that time shall Michael stand up, the great prince, which standeth for the children of thy people. See, we're going to have, right, divine intervention. We're going to have a divine vanguard in these times, because there's not going to be any other way for you to be able to withstand in these evil days, right? You remember it tells you that they shall howl for vexation of spirit, but my servant shall rejoice, right? They shall hunger, but my servant shall eat. They shall be thirsty, but my servant shall drink. Well, how is that going to happen? Right? We all physically go to the same store, grocery stores as everybody else that this world goes to. We get the same foods from the same places that everybody goes to, right? It's not like we live, somewhere separately. So how can one person, a neighbor or a neighborhood, be thirsty or be hungry or be vexing, howling for vexation of spirit, but at the same time, the Lord's chosen be in the midst of that and be happy, right? Be full, right? Be rejoicing. Well, that's going to have to be due to a divine difference, right? A divine intervention that is going to cause those individuals who are the Lord's servants to be in a position that is not by their own power, but by the power of the Most High, by Hashem Yahawashi, right? That is it. And that is how, as it says, then shall my chosen be known. Because there are going to be things, situations, right? Circumstances that are going to happen for us that are not going to be explainable on a physical sense, man. On a natural level. We're going to have divine power, guiding us, man. Psalms, the 34th chapter, we were just reading it. It says what? That the angel of the Lord encamped around about them that fear him, right? In Psalms 91, one of my favorite chapters, right, in the Bible, it talks about how the Lord shall, let me get it. Psalms 91, verse 10. There shall no evil befall thee. Now, in Ezekiel, it tells you that an evil and only evil is come. Okay? Only evil is coming, but yet evil is not going to befall the elect, befall the ones that serve the Lord. It says, neither shall any plague come nigh thy dwelling. Why? For he shall give his angels charge over thee. And the angels are not susceptible to the physical laws of this world, right? The angels are not under the subjection of this world, right? Of the mortal. So that is why you had, when Daniel was in the lion's den, you had an angel take Habakkuk from Israel, from Jerusalem, and bring him to Babylon in an instant. Because Daniel so Daniel could eat, right? That is what the angels, right? The Lord's servants, as it says, they are ministering ministers of fire, or ministering servants, right? In Hebrews, the 2nd chapter, that is what the Lord is going to charge the angels to do. See, and remember, Yahawashi is the leader, right? He's the captain of the Lord's host. So when he tells an angel, hey, this servant right here, you'll go make sure he get food. What do you think the angel going to do? The angel, just like how it tells you that the spirits of vengeance, right, that are created, that lay on sore strokes, and they appease the wrath of him that made them. Those are the left-handed angels. Well, you got right-handed angels that are going to appease the mercy of him that made them. So when the Lord commissions an angel to provide whatever you need in order to be fed, right? In order to be have drink, in order to rejoice in a time where everybody is howling and they're fearful and afraid, then that angel is going to come through. He's not going to come back with a report and say, oh, I wasn't able to do it. They were just in a really bad position and I couldn't get it done. No. He says, for he shall give his angels charge over thee to keep thee in all thy ways, right? All of them. They shall bear thee up in their hands, lest thou dash thy foot against a stone. See, So the angels, the Lord is going to give them charge to provide for us in that day, man. And that is something that we have an expectation of. Okay, if you are sincere about serving Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahawashi, and you are diligently making your calling and election sure, then you should have that, expectation and humility that the Lord will provide for you, will deliver you. So going back to Daniel 12, verse 1, and at that time shall Michael stand up, that great prince, the great prince, which standeth for the children of thy people, and there shall be a time of trouble, such as never was since there was a nation, even to that same time. And at that time, thy people shall be delivered, every one that shall be found written in the book. All right, which is what? That book of life, man. All right, the ones that were called and ordained from the beginning to receive salvation. All right. And hey, that's something that, me personally, Lord willing, I'm a part of the elect, man. I hope to be one of those ones that get that, right? To have an angel, come and manifest right in front of us, right in front of me, and provide me with what I need. But you also have to realize, in order for that to take place, then you have to be in that position, right? You have to be in a position to need divine intervention. That is why Jeremiah 30th chapter, it tells you that the Jacob's trouble, is a great day, such, as at last for that day is great, such that there'll be none like it. It is even the time of Jacob's trouble, right? But he shall be saved out of it. In order to be saved out of it, you have to be in it. And you have to be in it with the faith that you will be saved out of it. Because you're going to have a lot of people that is going to be in it, but they're not going to believe that they could be saved out of it because they don't know the Lord and they're not known of the Lord. And you're going to have people that claim to know the Lord, but they didn't keep the word of his patience. So they're going to be trying to call upon the Lord in that day, and the Lord is not going to hear them. The Lord is not going to respond to them. He's not going to send an angel to keep them. And they're going to know, and at that time, yeah, I was fucking around. I was on some bullshit, right? You weren't being a good steward of the Lord's household. You wasn't using your talents to the best of your ability. You was being a napkin nigga, right? You was taking this time of grace, for granted. You wasn't doing the work while it is day. Because as the Lord said, the night cometh when no man shall work. And what does night represent? Darkness. And what is he talking about? Putting America in darkness, cutting off electricity. When there's no electricity, you can't do live streams, right? You can't, a prophet, if there is no electricity to go on your computer like I'm doing now, right? Or to go on the phone, like, and to hear it, then you can't do the work. You don't go out on the highways and byways, right? And this devil's coming down. If the electricity go out, best believe they're going to make curfews happen, right? You're not going to be able to be outside, loitering, as they like to say, being outside in the corners, just hanging around. You're not going to be able to do none of that stuff. So yeah, that can also cause a famine of the word to take place. So as the Lord said, you must work the work while it is day, for the night cometh when no man shall work. So when the time comes when no man can work, remember Yahawashi said that his reward is with him to give to every man according as his works shall be. Right? You're going to be rewarded based off of your faith and your works. But there's going to come a point in time, just like when you're in school and you take a test. That test, you don't have a open-ended amount of time to complete that test. Okay, you have a specific time frame to where you can finish the test. Sometimes you get the whole class. Sometimes they only give you half of the class. Sometimes if it's a quick, easy test, you only get 10 minutes. But regardless, there's a time frame from where that test starts and where that test finishes. And likewise, with doing this work, there is a time frame from when it starts. That's when you put your hands to the plow. And when it finishes, And that's when the Lord says that no more, the famine of the word hits. And based off of what you've done in that time frame, that's going to be the works that follows you. And when the Lord comes back, or even before the Lord comes back, when it's time for deliverance, when it's time for the angels to get charged to be over those to keep them in their way, the Lord is going to say, well, this man didn't stand up, right? He didn't do everything I told him to do to the best of his ability. He didn't make his body a living sacrifice. He wasn't teaching the correct truth doctrine, right? He was about his own brand. He was about pushing a false doctrine, a false narrative. He was actually beating the manservants, right? He said, my Lord delayed his coming. So when all this hell comes, you know what? Leave him to his own devices. Leave him to his own way. And the ones that did what they were supposed to do, yeah, send the angel, hey, Michael, you go do that. Hey, Gabriel, the other angels, those are archangels. So they'll probably be telling the other angels, right? But ultimately, the angels will come and protect us. And that's going to be a comforting thing in a time where all hell is breaking loose, man. And that's only going to further our resolve into trusting the Lord. And that honor, that's only going to get the Lord even more honored, because the true men of the Lord are not going to boast in themselves. They're going to know that this is called Lord YAHAWAH Yahawashi, man. And that's how, what I said before, that's how the chosen shall be known. Okay.
Obviously, you have taken a very strong stance here today. Have you had conversations about your perspective, your action plan with the Prime Minister, with the folks in the Capitol there?
Numerous times. I've talked to the Prime Minister up to a couple of days ago. I'm the chair of the Federation, meaning the chair of all the premiers. I've talked to him on a daily basis. We all feel the same way. We do not want to do this. We love the American people. We love the U.S. But when one person attacks our country unprovoked, then we're going to respond, and we're going to respond like the U.S. has never seen before. We do $1.3 trillion of two-way trade, and we're like a big family between U.S. and Canada.
So we're almost out of time here, but we know that President Trump posted on social media that drugs are pouring into the U.S. from both Canada and Mexico, despite no evidence really to back that up. If this is his pretense for imposing tariffs, what should Canada do in response? How do you start to right the ship here in this relationship?
Well, first of all, Secretary Lutnick came out and said, yes, we're moving forward. I agree. Let's tighten up the borders on both sides. We put 10,000 personnel along our borders. And it works both ways. We're working with the DEA. We're working with U.S. Border Patrol, with our Canadian Border Patrol. We're ramping it up because we're seeing, so far in the last couple of weeks, we busted 624 kilos of cocaine coming from the southern border, endless amounts of guns. Illegals are coming across. I agree with President Trump. Let's both tighten up the borders, and we're doing it. Your borders are, Holman. He seems to be satisfied because we're showing results. We're listening and we're agreeing with the administration. We need to tighten up both sides of the border. And that's exactly what we're doing.
Okay, we will leave it there for now. Ontario.
There you have it, you guys. Let me know your thoughts. The Premier of Ontario coming out and saying, hey, we are ready to shut it down. We will cut off your electricity. We will start a trade war. We will fight like you haven't seen. So coming out with, some pretty strong words, but let me know your thoughts in the comments. Who's going to come out on top if it comes down to it? Is it going to be the U.S. or Canada? Do you think that Canada is going to be able to hurt the U.S. economy enough in a trade war? Or do you think the U.S. is going to wipe the floor with Canada? Who's going to come out on top? Let me know in the comments, but U.S. or Canada? This one.
Okay, and neither is, man. Okay, that's what these people, right? Guys like him, don't understand, because they don't understand biblical prophecy. See, yeah, we use their platforms and the information that they bring out because they bring out information that is good, but at the end of the day, they're not able to link what is happening to biblical prophecy, and that is why, as the scripture says, they take counsel, but not of me. See, the true men of the Lord, we take counsel in the Lord's words, and we understand what the Lord is doing in the sense of why all of this stuff is happening, because the effect of every vision is at hand. Let's pull that up, right? Ezekiel 12, verse 20, verse 21. It says, "And the word of the Lord came unto me, saying, Son of man, what is that proverb that ye have in the land of Israel, saying, the days are prolonged, and every vision faileth. Tell them, therefore, thus saith Yahweh power, I will make this proverb to cease. They shall no more use it as a proverb in Israel, but say unto them, the days are at hand and the effect of every vision. For there shall be no more vain vision, nor flattering divinations within the house of Israel. All right. So you're not going to be hearing about, oh, the most God is going to, bless America. God is going to turn, give you that new house. He's going to give you that new car. Man, you're getting a house costs crazy. You can't afford a house right now, right? with the mortgage rates, and then now Trump, Canada talking about raising, the tariffs on lumber. You're not going to be able to afford a house, and that's something that's already happening. The real estate market is crashing, and well, not even crashing. It's getting to a point where nobody could buy a house because you got banks buying up, right? Big banks like BlackRock, they're buying up all of the real estate. Okay, the auto industry. I seen something. I don't know if it was in this same article, but they were talking about how the auto industry is basically about to, be affected. Let's see, auto industry tariffs, right? See what this says. New tariffs drives fears of rising car prices. See that? As President Trump once postponed 25% on Canada and Mexico are poised to transition from a threat to a reality, the auto industry is preparing for higher costs and an extraordinary disruption to their North American supply chain. See? So, yeah, that whole flattering divination of, oh, yeah, this is your year to get a new house. This is your year to get a new car. All of that's ceasing. People ain't talking about that no more, right? People talking about how to, make ends meet, how to be able to afford eggs, for crying out loud. All right, you can't even. People are complaining. I went to the dentist office today, and you had a dentist, okay, a dentist complaining about how they can't just do it. No, just said we as in American people, they can't catch a break. Now, from my understanding, right, when you're a dentist, you make pretty good income, right? You make a pretty good amount of money, but because things are becoming so expensive, even the money that a dentist would make isn't even enough. Because she was saying how she can't even afford to buy a house right now. So even the money that she makes isn't even enough to be able to afford a house. And that goes back to what Klaus Schwab talked about, right? You will own nothing and be happy. But if you got somebody that's a dentist that's making well over six figures and she's complaining about the cost of living and how things are expensive, majority of people in America don't make over six figures. So when all of these things start to rise, that's why that premier dude from Ontario, that's why he says, I'm sorry to the American people. Because what you're about to experience, it's not, they're saying, oh, we didn't want to do this, but your president is leaving us no choice and we have to respond. And you're going to feel the brunt of this pain. You're going to feel how bad things are going to get. And when that happens, what do you think the American people are going to do? You see, they're going to eventually end up turning on the government because of these situations that they're putting the American people in, which goes into the book of Job, right? Chapter 20, verse, Job chapter 20, verse 22. In the fullness of his sufficiency, he shall be in straits, and the hand of the wicked, Salaki, every hand of the wicked shall come upon him. And that word wicked in the Hebrew is imal, if I'm not mistaken, right? Which means, imal, which means laborer, right? The workman. See? The everyday average workman average American, which are workers, they're going to be the ones that feels the brunt of this. They're going to be the ones that feels the pain of what this guy, this trade war, right, is causing, this economic collapse. And that they're going to do what? Lash out at the government. And that's where you have Second Ezra, the 15th chapter, coming to fruition. Once again, all prophecy. It's Second Ezra 15, verse 1. Behold, speak thou in the ears of my people the words of prophecy which I will put in thy mouth, saith the Lord, and cause them to be written in paper, for they are faithful and true. Right? These are true sayings of the Lord. The effect of every vision. So when we jump to verse 16, for there should be sedition among men and invading one another, right? Because as it tells you in verse 19, because of the lack of bread, right? And for great tribulation, people are going to be ransacking others, neighbors' houses, with the sword, with the gun, with a weapon, right? Because they're going to be looking for goods, looking for food, because it's going to become scarce, looking for essential goods, things that are needful in order, for them, like medicines. They show you this in all these apocalyptic movies, right? Where people are looking for medicines, they're looking for, painkillers, right? Looking for water, looking for food, of course. And they're not going to stop at, just say, oh no, I don't want to run up into somebody's house to get it. It's going to be anarchy out in the streets. That eat or be eaten mentality, dog eat dog world mentality is what America is going to turn into. So as it says, they shall not regard their kings nor princes, in the course of their action shall stand in their power. Okay. So I just read that, like I said, but yeah, this is Second Ezra 16, 15 and 14 is what I read. So let's see what else we got. Probably close it out in a little bit. Let's go back here.
Coming out from the Hill. So that way you can see it for yourself here. Put it on the screen and you can see all of this coming out in about the past 4 hours. Today, March 3rd, 2025, this is all starting to unfold. Canadian Premier says that he will cut off the electricity exports to the U.S. with a smile on his face. Now it says Ontario Premier Doug Ford said Monday that he is prepared to cut off electricity exports to the U.S. if President Trump's 25% tariffs on Canadian goods goes through. If they want to try to annihilate Ontario, I will do everything, including cut off their energy with a smile on my face, Ford told reporters at a mining convention in downtown Toronto, the Toronto Sun reported. So let me know your thoughts. I saw a lot of people in the comments saying that they feel like this is very aggressive talk. You heard him say, ready for a trade war. But man, if it comes down to it, who's going to come out on top on this? Now, Ford doubled down on his pledge to retaliate by matching tariffs, noting the U.S. is a major customer.
So let's see.
You bought your home, you got it inspected once, and then never
ago that Ontario Premier Doug Ford threatened to shut off his province's electricity exports to the United States and block shipments of Ontario's high-grade nickel, which he said provides 50% of U.S. supplies. This is per the Globe and Mail. He added, if they want to try to annihilate Ontario, I will do anything, including cutting off their energy. This is energy to the United States, with a smile on his face. With us now is the man, I guess, behind that smile, Doug Ford, the Premier of Ontario in Canada. Premier, thank you so much for being with us. Okay, what are your plans and how far are you willing to take it?
Well, first of all, I have to tell you, Canadians love Americans. We love the U.S. It's one person that's causing these problems. I've talked to senators and congresspeople and governors, Republicans and Democrats. Not one of them agree with them. I've talked to business CEOs of the largest companies. They totally disagree with this. And President Trump ran on a mandate to lower costs, to create more jobs. This is going to do exactly the opposite. The auto sector, we buy over 400% more autos than Mexico, 200% more than anywhere in the world. And he put up a smoke screen. He keeps moving the goalposts. Well, the market is speaking loud and clear. The market is going to go downhill faster than the American bobsled team, and we're going to continue seeing in the U.S. plants close, assembly lines shut down. In the auto sector, they may last 5, maybe 8 days before the parts that go back and forth across the border 8 times. This is unnecessary. And we do have to retaliate. And I apologize to the American people. It's not you. it's your president that's causing this problem. We're the #1 customer in the world to the United States. We had a great relationship. I want to continue on with that relationship, but I will use every tool in our toolbox to send a message to President Trump that this is the wrong thing to do. When Warren Buffett comes out and says this is basically insanity, you have to listen to someone like Warren Buffett.
You see, and that goes into Revelation the 17th chapter, right, which speaks about the beast shall hate the whore, because it's a trade war for now, but it's not going to end just with economics, right? It's not going to end just with tariffs, okay? Because remember, this is the counsel, the will, the purpose of Yahawah Ba'ashem Yahawashi, and these things are written, and therefore they're going to manifest. They're going to come to pass, right? And there's nothing nobody can do to stop it, all right? And we're just here to proclaim it, because we understand that the Lord is in control of what is going down. And all of these things ultimately are for our good. It's for the good of them that love the Lord, because we want the kingdom of heaven. We want Yahawashi to rule. We want righteousness to dwell on the earth. And in order for that to take place, hey, this place got to get taken out, but it's not going to just get, go out, riding off into the sunset. No, there's going to be a heavy, destructive judgment that the Lord is going to bring. That's going to be a stain on Esau for all of eternity, right? It's going to be a stain on the world for them to know, right, that this is what happens when wicked rules. And this man of sin, the son of perdition, the one that has been opposeth and exalted himself above all that is called the Most High, this is the judgment that he receives. Give them double, as it is read in the 18th chapter of Revelation. But here in the 17th chapter, it says in verse 16, and the 10 horns, which Canada is a part of NATO, right? Part of that beast, which thou sawest upon the beast, these shall hate the whore and shall make her desolate and naked, and shall eat her flesh and burn her with fire. For the Most High hath put it in their hearts to fulfill his will and to agree, and to give their kingdom unto the beast until the words of God shall be fulfilled. Okay, so the Lord put it in their minds to fulfill his will. And that's exactly what's going to take place. And that's what we're seeing right here. All right, so, I'm going to end it there. Lord willing, this was edifying unto the elect. We'll keep following this, keep watching, pray, for a few days, right? Pray that the Lord, protects you and your household. All right, as Yahweh said, watch therefore and pray always that you are found worthy to escape these things. All right, so with that, giving all praises, honor, and glory to Yahawah, Ba'ashem, Yahawashi, Ba'ashem Rakakadash. And until next time, Shalom.